Battlefield 4. I'm sure by now most of you guys probably know that Battlefield 4 has officially been showcased at events in places such as Stockholm and San Francisco, as well as being released all over the web. But let me start by saying thank you guys for 100 subs. You've all hopefully seen our montage, Aether, to celebrate the milestone. Myself and Sam are both so gracious of all you guys, and how supportive you've been for us as growing YouTubers. So thank you for that. Also, the gameplay which you'll be seeing in this video is on Battlefield 3 with the L85 RDS and the M1911 S-TAC on Noshok Nails with Sam. Now, onto what you're probably here for, Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 is a follow-up game to Battlefield 3, continuing the fight between Russia and the US. We'll get to see fast-paced FPS gameplay with high-end graphics. The game itself will be appearing on PC and the next-gen consoles, the PS4 and Xbox 720. So here's what we've seen so far from the footage released by DICE, which you can find a link to in the video description. We expect to see the blue tint seen in Battlefield 3 removed. This way we'll see a more vivid and lifelike picture, and it'll just be far less annoying, frankly. It's the most irritating thing to be on playing with this filter of blue, especially when we see people with clips on YouTube with brilliant colour filters applied. And you can't help but ask yourself, why hasn't Battlefield got this anyway? Fortunately, we should be seeing this change come Battlefield 4. Secondly, we're going to see an up-to-date HUD and reload monitor, also far better sound so we can feel like a complete badass when firing. We'll see similar vehicles like the Huey, attack chopper and the Jeep. Next, suppression. In Battlefield 3, suppression is a key way for players to hold back enemies. The screen becomes blurred and other characters become harder to see, along with the scenery. The community has debated whether or not this should be kept in the game, and now the trailer is out, if it is actually in there. Well, the answer is actually yes. The suppression effect is still there, it's just far less prominent. When the trailer is slowed, you can see it is still there, it's just a lot less clear. And as a player, you won't have your vision completely impaired, as it can do in Battlefield 3. Also the sun. Yeah, a bit of an odd topic, I agree, but you'll be pleased to hear that when we see in the single player, the sun has been nerfed and is no longer that blinding wall of fire in the sky. You'll be able to see objects and figures in the sunlight with less of a sight deficiency. Point number 4, I'd like to say about what happens when you're shot. In Battlefield 4, we'll get a collection of blood around the outside of our screen, and it'll become a kind of grayscale effect, as we see in the current Battlefield when we're shot. But personally, I don't really like this because I'm imagining a Noshok Nails type situation, where you'll be running in and out of crates, darting through waves of shrapnel, flying at your body. Undoubtedly, you will get hit a few times. But were this to be in the case of Battlefield 4 multiplayer, we'll see a huge accumulation of blood covering a lot of the screen, which will lessen your line of sight. What I'd like to see is for this to be strictly single player and have a nerfed interpretation on the multiplayer version. Finally, a hot point for any new FPS game. What are we going to see for the weapons, and what can we expect for our multiplayer experience? My first assumption would be typical of most FPS games. We'd see M4s, snipers, a range of SMGs, LMGs, assault rifles, some of these more used handguns like the 44 Magnum or the M1911. For Battlefield, some heavy air infantry and also some shotguns. What we saw in the trailer showed us what is thought to be a 44 Magnum, which we can see in an earlier scene where the squad is trapped in a vehicle underwater. Also, we see appearances of an M4, a shotgun, which looks to be kind of like the 870 MCS. We see the M203 and a War Machine style grenade launcher, similar to the one featured in Black Ops 2. Something which I am actually very excited for is the changeable scopes, which we see on an M4 in the trailer. We get to see the change between the iron sight and the 3.4 times scope, which you can flip between on a button which will probably be somewhere in your keyboard or on the console. You could probably customize it, but a nice easy way to look through two different views, two different angles to get your ideal sight for that situation. So here's hoping that that will be implemented into the multiplayer also. So now the Battlefield 4 single player has been released to the world, we are left wondering, will all these new things be in Battlefield multiplayer? Are the classes for the multiplayer going to be rebalanced? Will we be able to use the changeable scopes? And when do we enter the battlefield? My name's been Matt from the Empty Spectrum. Please give this video a like or drop us a sub if you enjoyed. Also, we'd love to see your comments on everything Battlefield 4. Until next time guys, farewell.